Hi everyone, I am Mike.
And my name's Carl, and this is episode 6 in our Heroes and Classes series on Corepunk. This is it, the final one for
This
now.
is it. For now, until, there's still technically another 6 we're waiting to hear on, but obviously we're expecting them further down the line.
Which one do you reckon is going to be next? Do you reckon it'll be Druid? You're hoping for Druid, aren't you?
I'm hoping for Druid. I'm living for Druid just because Druid, innit?
Yeah. Druid, innit?
Druid,
That's
innit,
it.
mate?
But today is Paladin.
Paladins, yes. The final one of the 6 that we know. This was one of the first to be announced when they were doing the class and heroes overviews. I don't know much about this class, I'll be brutally honest.
Doesn't excite me.
I don't know
why.
You.
I don't know why. Paladin, for me, on a first glance, looks like the plain Jane class. You know what I mean? Your basic
class.
warrior.
Okay.
But as we found with all of
we?
these, we found that they're all very exciting when you get into it.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you can see there, so their main blurb, mighty warriors and defenders, paladins, have made it in their mission to wipe out all evil. Not just some of it, every single last bit of evil.
Just all of it.
They always stay true to their values, and the sacred light guides them and those who follow them. Paladins are experts at healing and raising the spirits of their allies, but when prayers are no help, they are not helpless. Paladins can knock out their enemies with a stroke of their heavy hammer or mace.
So it's a kind of bit like a Reinhardt Mercy Overwatch type, if I'm thinking there.
Yeah, and
between the two.
If you were to akin them to that, they're warriors of light, basically. So they're guided by a spirit, whether it be a god or a patron or a deity or something like that. And usually paladins swear a sacred oath in kind of fantasy lore. So whether it is to vanquish evil or protect the holy land or, like all these kind of things, they swear it into secrecy kind of day one, sword over their shoulders. You are now a paladin. Hooray! And everyone goes, they're the good guys.
Right, nice. So that's how it works.
That's how it works. Always the good guys, never the bad guys. But we will see. So we've got 3 subclasses again, as we know. We'll go through them. We'll go through the spells. We'll go through the unique thing for each class. And then we'll see what's what. So the first one is the Hand of Light.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool title. You're literally the Hand of Light. These are melee warriors who use heavy two-handed weapons and the energy of the light. Though their speciality is dealing damage, they can also buff their allies in a fight. So, two-handed weapon. It says weapons as well, whether they've not decided on whether it's just, like in the was it Guardian class? Why is it?
Yes, that's the one we just champion class.
Just champion, that was it. It was the sword, wasn't it?
It was,
So they committed to that. So I wonder if they're still working on that. But anyway, so their special ability is, after using an ability, the next basic attack of the Hand of Light casts is empowered. An empowered basic attack deals bonus magical damage and casts periodic healing on the Hand of Light. Empowerment stacks up to 3 times. When the periodic healing effect stacks at 3 charges, the Hand of Light gains a bonus movement speed for 5 seconds, and when expired, the charges are reset.
So so you're getting extra attack, healing, and a bit of a speed boost all in one move, is that?
Yeah, once you stack it up to 3. So it's kind of one of those ramp classes where the first one gives you, it could be up to 43 damage per thing and 12 ticks. And obviously doesn't give a time period on. It just says periodic healing, gets up to 3 stacks, and then when they expire, but there's no mention of when they expire. Whether that's the abilities expiring or just they haven't come up with a time. We'll see. Interesting. I like that. More damage, more healing. Keeps them in the battle longer. So That's a nice little thing. Nothing you have to worry about either. There's no worry on that. That just happens. So nice and easy. So their first spell, which is Q, the Hand of Light hits with a powerful strike and deals physical damage in an area in front of them. All enemy targets hit by ability take increased damage.
Right.
So good opening strike. It's in a area in front of them, whether that's a square or like a fan, maybe. Like kind of in front of them. Does some damage and then takes increased damage up to 15%. Nice.
I'm imagining they're hitting the floor there with that picture. Are they going to be like smashing the floor? Everything in front of them's got took out.
Yeah, it's either they're either smashing it on the ground or it's like a big sweep maybe. But the picture does look it kind of like a smash. Boom! That would be pretty cool. Nice and simple. Nice to always take more damage, and then you will then inherently do more damage. Because of your passive, it all adds up. So that's pretty cool. 12-second cooldown, nice and easy, 4-meter range. Happy days. Nice little opener there for the Paladin of the Hand of Light. The next one we have got is the W skill. When the ability is activated, the Hand of Light releases 5 meters long beam of light in a targeted area. All enemies struck by the beam take magical damage and movement speed reduction. Beam removes all slowing effects from allies who are touched by it. If the Hand of Light hits a target with a beam of light, they can recast the ability and shield themselves or allies.
That's cool.
A little bit to break down there. Nice.
Yeah. So you get
targeted.
Like 2 moves there. Is that 2 moves if it hits, basically? You get
so it was... I'm trying to think of... want to say it's the Pain Reaper class. It did a thing, but if you managed to hit a thing off, you got like a bonus to it. So there's a perk to, rather than just putting it somewhere, actually trying to get it, because this is a targeted attack, so you're going to pick where it goes on the map. And that beam, obviously, once it's there, is just going to shoot. I like the idea that it removes slowing effects from allies who were touched by it. So you could actually use it just to help your friends. But yeah, the fact that you can recast the ability, so you get rid of the 10 seconds, you recast it, and you either shield yourself or the ally of your team. Pretty good. Instant cast. Nice little damage ticks. Shield power. That's a good amount. You can negate a good hit though with that. Nice. And who doesn't want to see a shining beam of light come out of...
You know what I'm thinking for all this while we're doing it as well? I wonder if we'll have any control over the colour of this beam of light. I wonder if my DC Universe Green Lantern fans will be going straight in there and changing that power to green and then pretending they have the Ring of Power. Maybe. The lantern's light.
It could be a cosmetic change. Could be. Yeah. I mean, I definitely would. Naturally, like you can see, these are kind of the yellow, golden, that classic faithful light, like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And the gods just raining down. I'm the blessed one and all that. But yeah, green, you could maybe have like red. So you're kind of a bit like like you could role play a fallen paladin, maybe, like redemption. But yeah, I mean, if someone came up to me and said, hey, it's a couple of this premium currency, and you, like you say, you can have green beams of light or...
I'm all about cosmetics. Yeah. You know me.
I know. Cosmetic. Exactly. You beat me to it. Cosmetic card. But yeah, that would be really cool. And maybe it's something they would see to implement. That would be really cool if they did. E. The Hand of Light. E-Bygum is from Yorkshire, this paladin. Yorkshire Paladin, powered by T. The Hand of Light marks their enemies for 5 seconds. When expired, the mark deals true damage, which we'll explain what that means in a second. 10% of all damage received whilst the target was marked. And 10%. Of course, that makes more sense if I put the and in it. So true damage. I don't think we've
What's
come
that?
across a skill that does true damage yet. So, when we've been talking about things like armor, damage reduction, like cast this and you take 10% less damage, all these things that negate damage, true damage basically ignores it. It hits you as if you are just unarmored. So
Right.
when we've
So it
got
just goes
185
straight to the
damage,
core, basically.
yeah. So
Nice.
185, obviously, you can negate that with armor, damage reduction spells, abilities, all that. This will
Yeah.
just hit you for whatever the damage level is. True
Right.
damage, bam, straight through. See you later.
That's what you get. That can be a bit dangerous, can't it, in a battle then? There you go.
So you're marked for 5 seconds as well.
And what does marking mean again? Sorry.
So it's just basically you're going, you.
Oh, just like marking, like highlighting them
Yeah.
on the screen, but there's no sort of
No, so
extra
yeah,
thing.
so you highlight them, you cast this on them, it's instant cast. So for
Yeah.
5 seconds, they'll have a debuff on them essentially. That any damage, you take 10% extra damage whilst you're marked, and then at the end, it does a huge whoopah. There you go,
Right.
185. See you later. Bit of a
There you go.
cooldown though, 25 seconds. So it's not something you can just be
Lightly used.
shooting off. Yeah, you want again similar to the infiltrator. It's a good, if you time it right, that can be a very powerful finishing move.
Yeah.
Like they've got 5 seconds, they're in that last third quarter portion of health, and then 185, that could easily see them off. And obviously you got to remember that's 185 before, if you've got your 3 stacks on, you're doing a bit
Yeah.
more damage, you're doing a bit more very clever.
It all ticks over.
All ticks over. Nice and easy. Finally, for the Hand of Light, the Hand of Light raises their weapon and starts to charge the ability, and then smashes it on the ground. The ability deals magic damage to the area. The Hand of Light can move whilst the ability is being charged. The damage that the ability deals depends on duration of the charge.
Wow.
So
it's a bit like the move we were talking about before then, isn't it? This is the one where you're smacking the ground.
Yeah. And the longer you charge it, the more damage you do.
Yeah. So when you see someone doing that, you're just going to be like, get them down!
Yeah.
Legolas!
Interrupt them, run away. There's several choices. And obviously its range goes as well. So the longer you charge it, the more
range you get in.
Area you're getting. That could be great. I just love the idea. And the fact that he can move, so even if you are running, he's coming at you with his hammer or his mace or whatever. Ah! Bam! No! But yeah, a proper true radiance. You can see on the little icon, he's got like ethereal wings spanning out like an angel.
Yeah.
So he probably just embodies, becomes a bit godly and just...
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Very cool. Nice little damage dealer there. I like that you can help your allies as well. Like they did mention, it's not just purely about hitting things. It's also helping your team. Yeah. And then we come on to the Cleric, which are support heroes who can still deal a lot of damage in a melee fight. Cleric's weapons are dual maces and the energy of the light, of which the latter they can use for healing and shielding allies. The effect of all abilities these heroes use whilst they are fighting is... What? Did I read that really wrong? The effect of all abilities those heroes use while they're in a fight is increased. Right, okay. I'm just dumb. Yeah, it makes sense.
You're not. No,
they're enhancing.
You do a better job of this than I do. Come on.
Come on now. That Yorkshire Paladin. Come on.
The Yorkshire Paladin.
So, so they are dual weapons, dual maces, interesting. Melee, but predominantly a support hero. So what does that mean for them? Well, there's no drop-down box. When attacking, the cleric gets and stacks charges, which empower their abilities by 2%. Charges stack up to 5 times and are automatically reset when any of the abilities was used. Stat charge will be reset if the special ability is activated, and basic attacks will deal additional magic damage for 10 seconds.
So I'm seeing this is you'd be getting in the fight, getting attacking, stacking it up, and then quickly healing someone because you've got that extra percentage going for your healing powers. That's how I'd be using it probably.
Yeah,
Like,
up to
bang, bang, bang,
it's
heal,
10%.
bang, bang,
It's
bang, bang.
10%, and
Yeah,
empowered abilities is 10%.
yeah,
And also, when you do switch to your R skill, which obviously we'll come up to, your base attacks deal more damage for 10 seconds. So
well,
there's a benefit in actually
right.
rotating your skills and all that jazz. So let's have a look at what the skills and abilities actually are. The Cleric, so this is the Q skill. You can see it's a big strike on the ground there. The Cleric attacks an enemy with their weapon and deals physical damage. After the strike, a small energy zone is created around the enemy in which the Cleric's allies gains periodic healing. The ability can be recast if the Cleric is in the energy zone. The zone explodes, dealing magic damage to enemies, and then the zone disappears. So, imagine you're at the back, or not necessarily at the front. You've got your tank fighting an enemy. You strike the zone of the enemy. There's an energy field around it. Your tank stood in that, so he's going to get healing whilst he's in that zone. But it also benefits you then to be in that zone because you can keep recasting it.
Yeah.
Negating the cooldown. And when it does finish, it does a bit of extra blast damage. So it's nice. Can be used as a bit of a zoning, like crowd control. So, you can kind of keep them. If you're on this side at the back of them and you're pushing the zone, like they're trying to get away, you can actually be quite clever with where that zone finishes. Because if it's going to explode, they're going to want to move out of it. But if then you're in the zone, you just recast it on them. Happy days.
It's not just a description of the talents you get here. It's also ways of how to use them, tips and tricks, isn't it, Mike? That's what you're laying down. You know what I mean? You're giving the people some tips.
Yeah. I mean, these are all kind of theory crafted. We don't know, but when I read that's how I feel. Like
this is where your mind goes.
It's where my mind goes, and my mind goes just
many places.
Many places. Nice and easy. It's nice that it's a bit of a zoney thing. It's nice that it heals. Because heals are always good, and the fact that it just does a bit of extra damage when it finishes is always nice. The W skill, which looks quite interesting. The Cleric charges the weapon and releases the light wave in front of them, which deals magic damage and debuffs the enemy, reducing their armor and magic resistance. The target is also rooted for 1.5 seconds. And I think that's a pretty good illustration in the W skill there.
I do miss. I've missed the idea that they haven't got the names for these skills. It'd be so much easier to, especially when talking about them, like in reference to your friends. Oh, I was doing this, and then I pulled this move out.
Yeah, well, they will come. They will be in the game. They won't just be the Cleric's W skill.
Yeah,
this will be called like the
unleashing of light
vengeance. Like I can imagine being called something like that.
Light
on, light off.
Light on, like the Human Torch, flame on.
Yeah. But a nice little skill. The fact they roots for 1.5. So if you are against a melee, you can root them, move out of the way. They can't do anything unless they've got a ranged skill. And the fact that they take both armor and magic resistance, so this obviously means armor's physical, magic resistance is spell. So you're just going to take more damage. Plus, you get hit for, 200s. We've seen that kind of is the higher end of the middling. We've seen some 300s and crazy numbers, but that's good. And it does it in front of them. So is that indicative of anyone who is hitting it? Because it's in a wave, so you might be able to get 2 or 3 of them. Maybe.
Yeah.
We shall see. Nice and easy. Good. E by gum. The Yorkshire Paladin.
The Yorkshire T.
We're making it a thing. The Yorkshire Paladin. He's coming.
The Yorkshire E.
Coming over Moors. He's coming in and he's gonna strike you down with a light. The clerics shields themselves or an ally. The shield absorbs all incoming damage If the
Oh,
shield
bloody
has
hell.
more than one strength point upon expiration, it triggers a magic explosion in the range of 2.5 meters around the hero. All enemies in range of the explosion are also stunned. Very interesting.
All incoming damage is massive,
All
isn't it?
incoming damage. So you can put it on an ally. That's another thing. So they can... The fact that you've got a bit of choice there. If the shield has more than one strength point upon expiration, now it doesn't say how many strength points there are. Maybe there are artifacts that increase the amount of strength points you have. So say I can imagine it maybe having 5 like big hits. So if you can hit it down in the 5 seconds of whilst it's there, then you can break the shield. But if there's still one left, it does an explosion. So that'll be interesting to see what that actually is. The fact that it does it to everyone around in 2.5 meters and they're stunned. So stunned means it interrupts anything. So if you are casting a big spell.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of a big fight, like literally in the middle of it, you can.
If you're against a hand of light and he's going,
exactly
2.5 seconds, you can go.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, pal.
Sorry. Cheers. Yeah, I know we're both paladins. You don't have to hurt me.
Sorry, Paladin.
Yes.
There
needs to be a guild of just paladins called the Paladins.
Yeah. Just a bunch of pals.
It's just like a cheesy 70 like show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like Cheers. And they'll all come to the bar at the tavern at the end of the day and they're all like, hey, I had a great good fight today. And they're just all like, oh, Joey. And just like canned laughter. The Paladins. Let's go. We're making it happen.
Let's go.
And they always take the mick out of the one who has the green light.
Maybe that's our guild.
He's the joke. He's the joke. Yeah. The green light paladin. He's called Kevin as well.
Oh, is he right?
Yeah. So we just come up with great ideas. What can I say?
No,
and then finally,
the
let's continue. Our skill for 3 seconds. The cleric surrounds themselves with an aura which heals allies, increases the cleric's movement speed, and reduces income damage. Whilst the aura is active, the cleric can base attack, but it cannot use its abilities. Now, this makes sense for its special ability there, where it says it does, when you switch, its base attack does magic damage for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's because you can't cast the skills above. Nice and easy. Good amount of healing. Big heal that. For 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is the total or whether that is a pulse per second, maybe. That would be quite interesting. You know, like if it's like a radiating aura.
Yeah.
Increased movement speed is always good. And reducing damage. And you can see the kind of vortices. The vortex around it. That is a word. And if it's not, it should be.
That's the name of that spell. We've just named it the vortices.
The vortices of light. The sacred hand. But yeah, nice little skill.
Cool.
It surrounds themselves with auras, heals allies. It doesn't say in what range. I guess it must just be if you're in his aura.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Nice and easy. The final one is Crusader. Now, the Crusaders are tanks who wield a shield and a Morgenstern and the energy of light. A Morgenstern, a morning star is basically what that is.
Right.
On a flail.
That first picture for the Q skill looks very cool.
Yes. So the Crusaders are made to withstand loads of incoming damage. At the right moment, they can drag enemies back to them, aiding allies in fight. Now, I imagine that chain on the end of their Morgenstern. Like,
bang.
Get them. So let's see what their special ability is. Each basic attack of the Crusader marks the enemy, and marks stack up to 10 times. Upon reaching maximum stacks, the mark stuns the enemy for 2 seconds. So this benefits you hounding a person. Get those stacks up. Once you hit 10, stunned for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't have to think about it, it just happens. I kind of... I see the intricacies of having ones that have been more active. You know, it's like, well, if you pick this and do this. But there is something cool about just it happening. You know, you've got enough to think
about it. Yeah, you don't have to worry.
So I do like that. And 2 seconds for a stun is a long time in a fight.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Q skill, like you say, a very interesting art. I like this. The Crusader flings a chain in the target direction, which deals physical damage the first enemy it hits and drags the enemy back to the Crusader. The ability taunts enemies to attack the Crusader for 2 seconds.
Good for crowd control. You could be in the middle of a fight, pick out the big guy, grab him, bring him in, smash him about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And they have to attack you. They have to attack you for 2 seconds. The ability taunts enemies. It says
Massive
enemies
range.
here. Yeah, well, there's a big, 8 meters. I think the longest we've seen is 10, isn't it, on the Ranger?
I think it was on the Ranger. And you could get close to a Ranger there and bring them into the battle, shut them down instantly, couldn't you?
Yeah, because they have to attack you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first enemy it hits, it drags, but it says the ability taunts enemies. So that'll be interesting to see how that... Does that mean anyone within the 8 meters has to attack you?
So I guess it's when the fling of it, whoever it hits the first person, doesn't it, and brings them to you. But the rest of that chain moving around, it'll be hitting other people, and I imagine it taunts them, so they have to then come for you.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like a bit of a swipe thing.
We'll have to see. It's interesting that.
If I was going to do that, I would have had it bring the last person the chain hits to you. You know what I mean? So you're doing the big swipe, taunt, grab, pull. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see thematically why that makes sense. It'd be very difficult as a tank if you're trying to get the target. Because the idea is you should be able to pick, and if you're going, oh, fuck, I need to, position myself so he's the last one. So but yeah, thematically, because obviously if the chain's going to keep going, you're going to pull the last thing to you. But I get from a gaming standpoint.
Yeah,
it's still going to look cool. It doesn't matter. If you're flinging a chain and they're coming to you, then fight me.
I wonder, going back to the cosmetic thing, sorry, it's coming to mind. I wonder if you could change the cosmetic of light. So I'm thinking Ghost Rider here from Marvel. I'm thinking with his flame chains that have, on fire. Could you change the theme of light to being like the aesthetics of it looking like fire or looking like ice, or
maybe,
you know what I mean?
So rather than just a color,
it might not. Yeah, it might not do that effect. It won't do the flame effect, but it could look
like it. Maybe
it'd be cool.
It would. Like say, it would be cool having maybe the weapons themselves. So like when we start getting into the epic and legendary realm, maybe that's where like you say, there might be an ice Morgenstern.
Yeah.
And that might
possibly,
maybe, but yeah, it would be cool. So yeah, the effect is still what it is, but it just visually looks cool. Yeah,
because
I could get behind that.
Because you're gonna have loads of the people out here. You know what I mean? There's gonna be loads of Crusaders playing. So to have that again, the individuality of each of them all looking different, and
well. We'll see. We'll see how they implement. I know they've said obviously they're going to monetize a lot of it through things like cosmetics. How far they go with that, it could just be very basic. But I could also imagine them doing things like that, where you could buy armor sets that look like like not a White Walker from Game of Thrones, but like that. The whole costume, so it goes the armor pieces and the weapons. The shield is a big block of ice.
Yeah,
could.
Well, they did say, haven't they, that armor, the cosmetic, it is just purely cosmetics. So you'll be able to, like for armor especially, you'll be able to have something that's on fire, but it's just cosmetic. It just does not go. Why can't you do that with the cosmetic of the weapon? I guess you know what I mean. Like
maybe it does.
Maybe it does. Oh, I'm excited. Bring me that beta.
Give me it now. Not that far. 2 months and a bit, maybe. Hopefully.
Maybe. Hopefully.
So W skill, this Crusader starts to charge an ability. They can't use any of abilities, launch abilities. I said abilities then. Abilities. Launch basic attacks or move. The ability charges for 2 seconds and triggers an explosion, which deals magic damage. Recast, an explosion will occur instantly, and damage dealt will depend on the amount of time it was charging. So up to 2 minutes. If it gets to the 2 minutes, 2 seconds. God, could you imagine? I have the power!
I still have the power!
30 seconds later. Like, oh, fucking hell.
Turns into a Dragon Ball Z episode where they're just charging up.
It's always Kevin, bloody Paladin. But yeah, so if you are, because of course you're prone to being hit, being in the center of it, like all the damage. Yeah. So if you can't hold for the full 2 seconds, the fact that you can just press W again and whatever you charged comes out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Big damage. 260.
Yeah, 260. Doesn't say how big the range is.
No.
And maybe that is something they're working out. But yeah, seems nice and simple. It doesn't excite me, I'll be honest. Like, I like the idea, but as a skill, I feel like I'd probably glance over this too much. Yeah. I wouldn't be like W, but
yeah.
Hey ho. No Morgenstern.
Morgenstern.
I
do like Morgenstern.
Yeah, as a weapon, it's great. I like the idea of having a spiked ball on the end of a chain and just conk 'em overhead. Yeah. E skill. The Crusader raises their shield and blocks the first attack or ability. If the damage has been blocked, the Crusader can recast the ability. The Crusader deals physical damage in a small area in front of them and slows all affected enemies. So if you know there's a big attack coming in, you can raise your shield. It's instant, so as long as you're on the ball, that'll give you a shield to block that damage. And then you can recast it, and then it does a small area damage in front of them and slows them. So movement speed's affected. So nice and simple. It can be very well timed that, if you've got a big raid boss about to do the punch you really hard. Yeah, I was trying to think of some really cool boss mechanic. It's punch you.
Just punch you.
Big punch. But yeah, block with the shield. Classic tank ability. I like it. And then the final one, R. The Crusader creates a field on the ground. All enemies trapped in this field can't use teleporting or dashing abilities. All allies within the field will take reduced damage. When enemies cross the border of the field, they will be disarmed and will take magic damage. So, it's, again, a bit zony, a bit of a you're fighting on my terms. We've seen something kind of similar in that Pain Reaper prison kind of idea. But this stops them teleporting, which is interesting, and dashing abilities. But it doesn't stop them from moving out. But if they do, they'll take 240 damage. That's a lot of damage. But it also protects everyone on your team.
And gives you a bit of bonus movement speed as well if you're in it.
Yep. And range of 3 meters, and that'll be obviously in a circle. You can see the little cool art there. Nice. So if you've got them taunted and they have to attack you, and then you cast this, they've got one or two choices. They either fight you and you're doing more damage to them. Your allies are taking reduced damage, even though they technically can't take damage from you. Them. Yeah, makes sense, taunt. But they've got the choice to just fight you in this battle, or if they do want to leave, they're going to
They're gonna
take
have to take the hit.
240 damage and be disarmed, which obviously means they can't do base attacks
Yeah.
for X amount of seconds. Who knows? But yeah, when the Crusader and their allies cross the border, they gain movement speed. Slow them down, speed you up. More damage, less damage. Nice and simple. Paladin.
What is it? Do they have the liquid in their suit?
I want to say no off memory.
I reckon it's going to be hiding somewhere.
She's
got it in her helmet. He's got it in his shoulders.
His podrons, yeah, shoulder podrons there, and the shield, and this Halo-esque thing. So yeah, it is present, and they kind of look a bit. I can't.
Royal Guard, I think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Very. That's just and they've got books. You know, the Sacred Oath is on there.
Yeah. The secrets.
The secrets.
Good times.
Paladin. Yeah, good times. Still not overly sold. The only thing that sold me on Paladin was the Morgenstern. To be fair, the Cleric was not a bad class. I like the support idea. Dual maces hitting him. I don't know how that would look in battle, but Morgenstern.
Yeah, I think we should have a nice little think after this one, and then we'll come back for an episode and try and figure out who we're going to play come beta time. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, well, like we say, it should be just a little over 2 months.
Do you think we'll get any news soon? More news? I know we've just got the...
we had the spotlight, didn't we?
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope we'll see...
Because they did say between August and September, but it's now October, so...
Yeah, well... Yeah. I think we will. I think they've probably got a lot lined up. And I feel like maybe as it does get to them confirming the beta is going to happen when they want it, I think what they will then do is go, okay, if the beta is random date, 6th of December, and they've got, well, if we did this much content for those amount of weeks up until then, that's when they'll start. So then we'll get bam, bam, bam. We'll do loads of videos. We'll cover everything. Anything that comes out, we'll be covering it.
So make sure you like, subscribe.
That's it.
We'll check out the vids.
Yeah, check out the other classes, because I know some people have said like they didn't want or didn't know about a class, then watched our videos and then gone, I really kind of like that class now. Maybe I will. And that's the whole point. We're going through them and kind of working out. And like I say, we will do an episode, I think, where we'll maybe if we pick the top. Well, there's quite a few in there. 6 times 3 is 18.
Yeah.
So there's 18 potential ones to start with. I think if we maybe pick our top 5? 3? Yeah, let's go for 3. That's our homework. We'll go away, pick our 3 that we would like to play.
And pick your 3 and let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, always like to get in touch with the community, see what's going on.
Wonderful people.
Right, till next time, I guess.
Yeah, cheerio.
Bye-bye.